What happens when a country music legend and a confident television host collide over the meaning of artistic freedom on live TV? The air inside Studio 1A was thick with tension that morning, so thick it felt like you could almost touch it. Carrie Underwood sat across from Sheinelle Jones on the Today Show couch, her polished calm starting to crack under an unexpected round of questions that no one saw coming. What started as a simple promotional interview soon became one of the most talked-about on-air walkouts in daytime television history. Before we dive into this unbelievable moment, don't forget to subscribe and tell me in the comments, should celebrities defend their artistic integrity, even if it costs them their comfort or reputation? That day began like any other for Carrie. She arrived at Rockefeller Plaza around 6:30 a.m., still wrapped in a cozy jacket against the New York chill. Her team was already there, hair, makeup, wardrobe, all working together to create her signature flawless look, soft curls, glowing skin, and that classic camera-ready confidence. She was there to talk about her newest album, a deeply emotional record exploring faith, family, and the struggle of staying real in a world that rewards conformity. Her publicist had gone over everything, expected questions about tour dates, creative inspiration, and home life. Nothing controversial, nothing difficult. Sheinelle Jones, the host, had her own notes ready. She was known for her friendly, yet thoughtful interview style, someone who could draw out deeper answers without ever seeming pushy. But that morning, something was different. Maybe it was the ongoing debate about country music and its connection to social topics. Or maybe Sheinelle herself was tired of the overly polished answers that often came with celebrity interviews. Whatever it was, she made a quiet decision before cameras rolled. She was going to go deeper than usual. At exactly 8:15, the lights went up and the cameras began to roll. The first few minutes flowed perfectly. Carrie smiled as Sheinelle introduced her, talking about her journey from American Idol champion to one of the most respected names in modern country music. They chatted about her new single, her upcoming tour, and her family with husband Mike Fisher and their children. The energy was calm and pleasant until Sheinelle's tone shifted ever so slightly. "You know, Carrie," she began, her voice taking on a more reflective tone, "your new album seems to explore some serious themes. There's this focus on being true to yourself even when the world pushes you to change. What inspired that?" Carrie's smile stayed, but her posture stiffened just a little. "Well, Sheinelle," she said evenly, "I think every artist faces that struggle between staying true to who they are and meeting expectations. This album was really about letting go of that pressure. It's my honest voice, no filters, no pretending." "That's interesting," Sheinelle said, leaning forward slightly. "Because lately there's been a lot of talk in country music about authenticity, especially about artists who claim to stand for truth while avoiding controversial issues. Some critics say being authentic means being brave enough to take a stand, even if it costs fans. What do you think about that?" Carrie's smile tightened just a little. "I'm not sure what you're implying," she said quietly. "I've always been very open about who I am in my songs." "Of course," Sheinelle said with a polite nod, though her expression hinted she wasn't fully convinced. "Let's talk about your song Stand Still. Some listeners say it's about faith and perseverance, but others see it as a message about social movements. The lyric "Stand firm when the world wants you to kneel" has started quite a conversation online." Carrie took a slow breath before answering. "Music is open to interpretation, Sheinelle. People hear things differently depending on their own experiences. For me, that song is about personal faith and strength. If someone sees another message in it, that's their perspective. But that's not what I set out to write." Sheinelle tilted her head, her tone calm but probing. "But as someone with such a large audience, do you ever feel like you have a responsibility to clarify your message, especially when people use your lyrics to support their views on social issues?" The room seemed to grow quieter. Carrie's fingers curled slightly against the couch arm, her voice still steady but sharper now. "My responsibility is to be honest about my own experiences. I'm not here to make political statements. I'm here to make music that comes from the heart." Sheinelle nodded slowly, but didn't let go. "I understand that. But in today's climate, remaining neutral can sometimes be seen as taking a side. With your influence, your words carry weight. Do you think neutrality is even possible anymore?" Carrie let out a small sigh. You know what, Shale? She said. I came here to talk about my songs and my creative process, not to be pushed into political conversations I didn't sign up for. Shale stayed calm, her voice measured. I'm not trying to make you uncomfortable. I just think fans appreciate when artists address the impact their words have. Your songs reach so many people. Clarity, Carrie repeated, her tone rising slightly. My songs are clear. I sing about my life, faith, love, family, struggle. If people twist that into politics, that's not on me. That's the world we live in. The camera zoomed in closer. The tension was becoming visible. Shale pressed on. Let's take your song Higher Ground, for example. You sing about building walls of faith and protecting what's sacred. Some have connected that language to current political topics. Did that possibility cross your mind while writing it? Carrie laughed, but there was no humor in it. So now I can't talk about spiritual protection without someone accusing me of making a political statement? That's the problem, Shale. Everyone wants to overanalyze everything until the meaning gets lost. Higher Ground is about rising above negativity, not about national borders. I understand that's your intent, Shale said calmly, but sometimes intention and impact don't align. When your lyrics are shared online next to political discussions, it creates interpretations that you may not have meant. Doesn't that matter? Carrie's expression hardened. You want to talk about responsibility? My responsibility is to my art and my faith. I can't control how every person interprets what I write. If I tried, I'd never be able to write a word again. Shale's eyes remained steady. That's fair, she said, but your recent songs seem bolder, more direct than your older ones. Draw the line and no compromise sound like you're speaking out more clearly. Would you say you're moving in that direction intentionally? And what if I am? Carrie shot back, her voice tight. What if I'm tired of watering myself down to please everyone? You talk about authenticity. Well, this is me being authentic. Maybe that's not as easy for people to digest. The studio went still. Producers exchanged glances. Even the sound crew stopped moving. Carrie's publicist stood off camera, visibly tense. So you're saying you're done holding back? Shale asked carefully. I'm saying I'm done being told how I should express myself, Carrie replied. For 20 years I've been told to smile more, to sing softly, to avoid stepping on toes. Maybe I'm done pretending. Shale's tone softened, though her eyes stayed locked on Carrie. But don't you think with that kind of freedom comes responsibility? Your words influence people, whether you intend them to or not. Carrie stood up suddenly, startling everyone. And there it is, she said, her voice shaking with emotion. The idea that artists should filter themselves to keep everyone comfortable. That's exactly the problem. Carrie, please, Shale started, but Carrie didn't let her finish. I came here to talk about music, not to defend myself. Every time I sit down for an interview, it turns into this. I'm expected to justify my art, my words, even my faith. Enough! Let's not get off track, Shale tried to calm the situation. We can move back to your tour. Off track? Carrie said, incredulous. No, Shale, this is the track. This is what interviews have become, polite setups that turn into gotcha questions. You didn't invite me to celebrate music. You invited me to dissect it. I'm not trying to create controversy, Shale replied softly. These are real questions about the role of artists today. Carrie's laugh was bitter. My fans don't need anyone explaining my songs to them. They connect with my music because it's real. They find their own meaning in it. That's what art is supposed to be. The control room buzzed with tension. Producers debated cutting to a commercial. Carrie's publicist inched closer to the set. Every camera stayed trained on Carrie's face, catching every emotion as it passed. I'm not attacking you, Shale said, her tone steady but nervous now. I'm asking for your thoughts on how art connects with the world. And I'm telling you, Carrie said firmly, that I'm not going to let fear of misunderstanding control what I write. I won't apologize for expressing myself honestly. For a moment, it seemed like the exchange might settle. But then Shale spoke again, one line that turned the entire interview upside down. But Carrie, she said carefully, don't you think that attitude comes from a place of privilege? Not everyone has the luxury to speak freely without consequences. The effect was immediate. Carrie froze, eyes wide with disbelief. Privilege? She repeated, her voice low but shaking. You think I'm privileged? You think I don't deal with consequences? Shale opened her mouth to explain, but Carrie cut her off. I've been judged for everything. For what I wear, what I say, how I parent, who I love, what I believe. My songs get picked apart until there's nothing left. That's not privilege, Shale, that's pressure. The studio was silent except for Carrie's voice, now stronger, more emotional. You want to talk about privilege? Privilege is sitting there thinking you get to tell me what my art should mean. Privilege is believing your interpretation matters more than the artist's truth. She unhooked her microphone calmly, her face set. I came here to share joy, to talk about music. Instead, I got a lecture. I'm done. Carrie, please, Shale said quickly, now standing too. I didn't mean it like that. But Carrie shook her head. No, you meant it exactly that way. You wanted to get a reaction and you got it. Congratulations. She looked toward the camera. But you also lost something. You lost a real conversation about art and meaning. She handed her mic to a sound technician, her heels clicking as she walked off set. Sheinelle Jones stood motionless, speechless for the first time in her career as the cameras kept rolling. And just like that, the interview that started as a friendly morning chat turned into one of the most powerful and uncomfortable moments in television history, a clash between two strong women who both believed they were right about what it means to be authentic. So what do you think? Was Carrie right to walk away and defend her voice? Or was Shale simply doing her job by asking tough questions? Let me know in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more remarkable stories like this one.